The next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot.
Clive Davis usually throws the biggest party the night before the Grammys, but tonight the mood was somber. Whitney Houston died in a room in this very hotel earlier today.
Kanye is finally exposing Whitney Houston's killer, and it is someone close to her. Many speculated her death was a result of her struggles with addiction. However, the plot thickens as fingers point toward Clive Davis, the man who discovered Whitney's talent. Is he really the person behind her death? Alright, so picture this, it's 2012, and Whitney Houston, the queen of soulful tunes, sadly leaves the world on February 11th. Now, there's a twist to the story that has got everyone buzzing, and it's not your typical accidental death scenario. So people think that Houston's demise wasn't just a tragic mishap. According to them, her body was showing signs of a struggle, like classic defense wounds. And they've got Kanye West backing them up. Yes, Kanye West, the man known for his outspokenness. Apparently, Kanye spilled the beans about Hollywood elites and their shady tactics. He claims they staged celebrity deaths to make it look like they offed themselves. And guess who's in the spotlight? Clive Davis, a music industry titan closely linked to Whitney throughout her career. Kanye is pointing fingers, saying that Clive, Whitney's longtime mentor and record producer, might have something to do with it. As the founder and CEO of Arista Records, the label that housed Whitney for many years, Davis was known for his sharp business tactics and transforming artists into superstars. However, cracks in their relationship began to show in the early 2000s, with Houston distancing herself from Davis and the label. In a revealing 2002 interview with Diane Sawyer, Whitney Houston openly discussed her struggles with drug addiction, her tumultuous relationship with Bobby Brown, and cryptic references to battling demons. She even hinted at a plot against her and suggested more to her fallout with Clive Davis than met the eye.
It was rough. It was rough. I think I kind of reverted back as I got older and said, well, I'm just gonna party, you know? It was kind of a rebel in me, you know? And that's how I have to deal with it.
Clive Davis, the Grammy-winning music executive, opened up about his final moments with Whitney Houston and shared his recollections of the last encounter with the late pop star, reminiscing about a mere 48 hours before her untimely death. According to Davis, Whitney was in great shape during that meeting, proudly demonstrating how she had successfully removed all the nicotine effects from her smoking habits. He even mentioned rescheduling a recording session from February to August.
I've got to tell you, she showed me how all the nicotine from her smoking had been removed. We scheduled a recording for August, that was in February. She had just come from her movie that she had been in. And I played her, I was playing her songs that Jennifer Hudson had just recorded. We spent the whole afternoon, as we always did, together at my hotel. So it was shocking when 48 hours she had died.
The news of her passing just 48 hours later was, in Davis's words, shocking. Describing those final moments as memorable and vivid, Davis reflected not only on the end, but also on the beginning. He shared thoughts on his first meeting with the iconic singer, adding a reflective touch to the emotional journey captured in the first ever officially sanctioned biopic on Whitney Houston's life and career. Clive Davis reminisced about his initial encounter with Whitney Houston during an interview, recounting a poignant moment vividly portrayed in the new biopic, I Wanna Dance with Somebody. My first encounter, which is vividly portrayed in the film, is when she auditioned for me. A small club, Sweetwater, and she sang The Greatest Love of All, Davis recalled. That was a song I had commissioned 8 years earlier for the movie on the life of Muhammad Ali. He expressed his shock and admiration, emphasizing how the 19-year-old beauty approached the microphone and sang the song with a depth of emotion that surpassed even the original writers. Davis was captivated, stating, she found more meaning in that song than Michael Masser or Linda Creed when they wrote it, so I'll never forget it, and that's how we met right after that audition. But he couldn't escape the speculations about his involvement in Whitney's death, and that was due to several factors. The financial gains he reaped posthumously from Houston's increased music sales and his memoir detailing their relationship raise eyebrows. Some believe Davis had a financial motive for wanting Houston out of the way. Clive Davis's legendary pre-Grammy parties, attended by A-list celebrities, executives, and industry insiders, become part of the narrative. Reports suggest that Houston, struggling with drug addiction, often used drugs at these events. Despite incidents like the infamous 2001 party where Houston appeared under the influence, she continued attending, with industry insiders turning a blind eye. Some speculate that Davis enabled Houston's drug use by providing a safe space. Kanye West, who himself has attended Davis's pre-Grammy parties, may have reasons to expose him. The annual gala, known for its star-studded guest list and performances, has become a cornerstone of the music industry's award season. Now fast forward to this wild claim. Kanye says these Hollywood big shots have the power to make celebrities vanish into thin air. Fans are now pointing fingers at Clive, saying he's one of those elite folks, but why? Well, hours after Whitney is found lifeless in her hotel room bathtub, Clive throws a pre-Grammy party in the same building. Talk about questionable choices. It gets weirder. Allegedly, Clive knew Whitney's body was still in the building when he decided to have a bash. People are scratching their heads, wondering what could make someone so influential in Whitney's life party in the same place where she took her last breath. Whitney's friends and family are calling Clive out for disrespecting her memory. But hold on, there's a darker twist. Fans are speculating that Clive's pre-Grammy party was some kind of ritual. Yeah, like some Hollywood black magic stuff. Now, let's time travel to 11 years later. Whitney's fans are still on the edge of their seats, hoping the real truth will surface one day. The conspiracy theories are all over the place, but the one stealing the limelight involves Clive Davis. Kanye's revelation about the music industry's dark side rekindled the fire. Fans are bringing up Clive's infamous 2012 pre-Grammy party at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. Whitney was supposed to perform there, but destiny had other plans. Whitney Houston tragically passed away on February 11, 2012. Just hours before the event, Whitney's assistant found her lying face down in a bathtub filled with water. Alarmed, the assistant called Whitney's bodyguard, Ray Watson, for help. Ray described the scene in the bathroom as surreal, expressing panic as he tried to comprehend what had happened to Whitney. Uncertain of her condition, he pulled her out of the water and attempted to revive her. Whitney's assistant and bodyguard dialed 911, and paramedics arrived at the hotel room around 3:30 p.m. Despite their efforts to perform CPR, Whitney Houston was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. The news of Whitney's death broke in Los Angeles, leaving fans and the public in shock. The cause of death was initially unknown, and the local police stated that there were no apparent signs of criminal intent. Subsequent investigations, including an autopsy and toxicology tests conducted by the LA County Coroner's Office, revealed that Whitney's death resulted from drowning, exacerbated by heart disease and drug use. While the autopsy report mentioned external trauma on Whitney's body, the coroner concluded that there was no evidence of foul play. Fans aren't buying it. Something feels off. The coroner rules out foul play, but Whitney's fans can't shake the suspicion. And then comes Clive Davis, Whitney's mentor, throwing a pre-Grammy party at the Beverly Hilton Hotel, the same place where Whitney was found lifeless just hours before. Cue the raised eyebrows. Clive claims it's a tribute to Whitney, what she would have wanted. He insists the family didn't ask him to cancel the party. Fans, friends, and family, however, aren't buying this explanation. Chaka Khan calls it insanity, saying Whitney would have wanted everything to stop.
Strong feelings about that. I too was an addict. I know if I were on a set of a movie, even now I recovered for 7 years, we'd have made, if I was coming to a city like LA, we'd have made specific plans that I come in night before or day of performance. Especially if you've gone into proper treatment and gotten your situation handled. Yeah, that was the first big mistake. For her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party. I'd have never done that.
I was just shocked that it was happening. I was seeing all these pictures of her apparently falling out of clubs and covered in whether it was blood or wine, but certainly the fact that she was drinking in public in these clubs in Hollywood seemed to me a potential recipe for disaster.
It was. It absolutely was.
The idea of a tribute party while Whitney's body is still in the hotel baffles and angers all of Whitney's fans. Someone said, "As someone who's watched Whitney's interviews and movies, I even know Whitney would not have wanted the party to go on. She loved God. she would have wanted exactly what Chaka Khan said. They definitely murdered Whitney and her daughter. I can't imagine partying anywhere that day, let alone next to her dead body. Whether it was the same people both times or different, they were both murdered. They deserved better. Rest in peace, angels. Another said, I have to say, this stinks to high heaven. What kind of friend would be able to have a party as the body of Whitney Houston is still in the building? Just sick and very disrespectful to Whitney and her family. I mean, how does one do that? It's very scary to think that this man claimed to love Whitney, and the thought never crossed his mind to cancel the party. No, he just cares about the money. Just revealing that it never crossed his mind to cancel this event just proves that he's 100% heartless. The only thing he loved was the fame and fortune Whitney vastly provided him with. Rumors circulate that Whitney was beaten before her death, despite the official autopsy report not mentioning it. Industry insiders, including Jaguar Wright, claim Whitney's family saw her body battered. It's a disturbing twist to an already tragic tale. A resurfaced video adds fuel to the fire. 2 days before her death, Whitney crashes an interview, passing a note to Brandy, repeatedly uttering the word drowned. Fans speculate she knew she was in danger. Someone said, Brandy's face after she read the note says it all. And you can still hear her say, I nearly drowned today, twice, really creeped me out. The tragedy doesn't end there. Just 3 years later, Whitney's only child, Bobby Christina, faces a similar fate. Found face down in a bathtub, she's alive but slips into a coma before tragically passing away on July 26, 2015, at the age of 22. The initial autopsy did not reveal an obvious underlying cause of death or significant injuries. However, it was later determined that the primary cause of death was immersion associated with drug intoxication. The manner of death could not be definitively confirmed, and the autopsy report stated the medical examiner's inability to determine whether it was intentional or accidental. A fan pointed out, what is really weird is her daughter died in the same way. Maybe she had to be eliminated so Clive Davis could get all her money. In July 2020, Nick Gordon, Bobby Christina's former fiancé who discovered her body, also died of a suspected overdose. Bobby Brown, Bobby Christina's father, subsequently claimed that Nick was involved in both Whitney and Bobby Christina's deaths by supplying them with drugs. However, some fans dismissed these claims, suggesting that Bobby Brown might be attempting to deflect blame away from himself, as he was the one who introduced drugs to Whitney. Some are pointing fingers at Clive Davis, alleging that his pre-Grammy party was not merely a celebration, but possibly a blood ritual. A fan wrote, he played a role. Clive Davis was the mastermind though. Whitney was literally sacrificed. That party was a ritual. They partied knowing her dead body was in the hotel. It hit the news that MF was still asleep. Chaka even warned Whitney to not go to that party, but to stay home instead.
That was the first big mistake. For her to come in an entire week before her performance at the party. I'd have never done that.
I was just shocked that it was happening. I was seeing all these pictures of her apparently falling out of clubs and covered in whether it was blood or wine, but certainly the fact that she was drinking in public in these clubs in Hollywood seemed to me a potential recipe for disaster.
It was. It absolutely was.
Clive Davis throwing a fancy party while they were wheeling out Whitney Houston's lifeless body was just downright creepy. It makes you wonder, why would people who made millions off her talent treat her like she's disposable? The big question is, what's in it for them when iconic stars like Whitney pass away? Well, it turns out that when megastars like Whitney Houston, Michael Jackson, or Prince kick the bucket, their music becomes super popular and the money starts rolling in. Plus, once these artists are gone, they can't fight back against the control labels and others have over their music. As of January 2023, Clive Davis is swimming in money with a net worth of $850 million. Sure, he didn't make all that dough right after Whitney's death, but fans are side-eyeing him, thinking he might be connected to her untimely end. Some fans are vibing with Kanye West, saying maybe he's onto something with his warnings about the industry making bank off artists biting the dust. It's like they're willing to do anything to stay in control and keep the cash flowing, even if it means sacrificing their own stars. In a shocking turn of events, celebrities are now stepping forward in support and agreement with Kanye West's claim that Clive Davis orchestrated Whitney Houston's demise. The revelation unveils a clandestine party at Davis's house, sparking a chain of events that led to Whitney's tragic end. Whitney's journey to stardom wasn't without its hurdles. In a 2002 interview with Diane Sawyer, she hinted at a fallout with Davis and even suggested a plot to have her killed. Sadly, her words were dismissed and her character was attacked, leaving her vulnerable to those seeking to silence her. The circumstances surrounding Whitney's death intensify the suspicion. Her autopsy reveals missing teeth, scars, and scratches, and she was found face down in a bathtub. tub. The notion that she simply overdosed and accidentally drowned seems unlikely. Instead, a more plausible scenario emerges that someone was in the room with her and a struggle ensued, leading to her drowning. The drugs found in the room might have been planted to create the illusion of a relapse and accidental overdose. So why would someone want to harm Whitney? The answer may lie in the dark underbelly of the music industry, where power and greed reign supreme. Kanye West suggests that Whitney's untimely death might serve as a warning to others who dared to speak out against the corruption and abuse pervasive in the industry. Kanye West's unconventional methods come to light as he employs a controversial image for his Daytona album cover. The photo, reportedly purchased for $85,000, depicts Whitney Houston's drug-filled bathroom after an alleged drug binge in 2006. Kanye seems to be conveying a message through this choice, possibly shedding light on the dark realities of the music industry. Despite potential backlash from Whitney's family and fans, Kanye West and Pusha T stand by their decision to use the provocative image. Gary Michael Houston, Whitney's nephew, defends the artists, stating that they are conveying a visual message to accompany their music. He suggests redirecting anger toward the person who originally took and sold the photo to the tabloids, as they were the ones violating Whitney's trust in the first place. Whitney Houston's death remains an enigma, and Kanye West's focus on Clive Davis adds another layer to the mystery. Brandy Norwood has raised questions about whether Clive Davis sacrificed Whitney Houston, her close friend and idol. Brandy expressed disbelief at Whitney's sudden absence and hinted at the unsettling trend of artists being deemed more valuable in death. The speculation around Whitney's death intensified due to Clive Davis continuing with his pre-Grammys party at the Beverly Hilton, while Whitney's body was still in the building. Brandy disclosed that Whitney had interrupted an interview 2 days before her death, passing a mysterious note to her, sparking theories of a warning or cry for help. Various conspiracy theories, including claims of defense wounds on Whitney's body, challenged the official autopsy report, which attributed her death to drowning, heart disease, and cocaine use. The circumstances surrounding Whitney's death, coupled with Clive Davis's partying, fueled suspicions among fans and friends. For Brandy to talk about how her and Whitney were so close and be giving a note by Whitney just hours before her death and never ever say what she wrote is crazy to me. Her reaction and Clive's reaction when he looked lets you know the world needs to hear the truth. How can you sit there claiming your feelings on a person you love and don't speak up for them at their demise? Everybody knows Whitney's death was staged. Where is that notee? What did Whitney share with Brandy? She needs to be held accountable for withholding key info. I'm so disappointed not one of those MF was there for Whitney, but only Ms. Chaka Khan. Clive Davis, a music industry mogul with an estimated net worth of $150 million, faced criticism for producing a Whitney biopic, I Wanna Dance with Somebody, portraying him as a white savior. Fans accused Davis of using the biopic to distract from his controversial actions during Whitney's death and suggested sinister motives behind his party that night. Now, Jaguar Wright is stirring up fresh controversy. She's shedding light on allegations about Diddy's involvement in trafficking, claiming that he learned such practices from his mentor, Clive Davis.
You want to know what fucking Clive Davis did for Whitney Houston? While he was busy trying to bring her back. See, people forget, before she came to the United States, he sent her on an international tour. And she went out on tour, and she was still getting high at the time. You're happy that she's falling apart. It's just she's doing the crackhead antics so dope. You know what I mean? She was in it. Huh? What is my key? Like she's in front of the president of Kazakhstan.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
But it was good enough to get that check though. And then he put her in rehab to clean her up right before it came time for America, because she had to at least appear sober in America for the whirlwind story. And then they brought in R. Kelly to do that song for her, the pedophile. That she had to use auto-tune to sing because her lungs were so jacked up from all the smoking.
Following Diddy's recent settlement with Cassie, who accused him of domestic violence and trafficking, 2 more alleged victims have come forward, accusing Diddy of assault. Reports suggest that there may be more victims, but this isn't confined to Diddy alone. According to Jaguar Wright, such abuses of power are rampant in the music industry. Wright paints a dark picture of the music industry, describing powerful men who exploit their positions to traffic and assault young people. In her narrative, Clive Davis, a significant figure in the recording recording industry, who played a pivotal role in helping Diddy launch Bad Boy Entertainment, is implicated in these alleged wrongdoings. The legal troubles for Diddy continue to unfold. One victim, identified as Joy Dickerson Neal, has filed a civil suit against Diddy, claiming that in 1991 he spiked her drink during a dinner date, rendering her physically incapacitated. Neal alleges that Diddy took advantage of her in this vulnerable state and recorded the assault, later showing the video to others. Another anonymous woman filed a suit claiming that in the early 90s, Diddy and singer Aaron Hall assaulted her during an after-party. The allegations expand to include both male and female victims, with reports suggesting that Diddy may have assaulted male sex workers as well. Diddy's bodyguard, Jean Dell, has come forward, confirming that Diddy hired male sex workers for himself and had encounters with men at Turkish baths. Jaguar Wright suggests that Diddy's behavior may be rooted in his past victimization by Clive Davis, portraying Diddy as an extreme narcissist who loves power, manipulation, and control. The narrative implies a cycle of abuse, with mentorship playing a role in perpetuating harmful behaviors. Jaguar Wright's spill on Diddy is making waves, claiming he's not just tangled up in love life chaos, but is allegedly involved in some serious accusations, including assault and trafficking. According to Jaguar, what's been keeping Diddy out of hot water is his high-profile connections, and one of the big names in the mix is none other than Clive Davis. Jaguar throws a curveball, suggesting that Diddy might have picked up these questionable behaviors from his mentor Andre Harrell, who, in her narrative, learned the ropes from none other than Clive Davis. The implication here is that Diddy, under the influence of his mentors, allegedly uses his status in the industry to engage in some unsavory activities involving both men and women.
My focus right now is Sean Combs.
Okay. Tell us why. Tell us why.
Because he's a trafficker. And he's using music and entertainment traffic.
Now, is this just boys, girls, adults, kids?
I mean, from what I've heard from sources that I would consider reliable, it really doesn't matter.
Wow.
I don't think sexuality is something that has anything to do with gender at this point for Sean. I honestly think he's just an extreme narcissist who loves power. He loves the ability to manipulate and control people. Why? Most likely because he was victimized by his mentor, who loves to control people.
And his mentor was
Andre Harrell.
Tell us how
who was mentored by Clive Davis.
Now the focus shifts to Clive Davis, who Jaguar claims played a pivotal role in Diddy's rapid ascent to fame. She suggests that Clive, by pulling some strings, helped Diddy launch Bad Boy Records after getting passed over at Uptown Records. There's even a mention of Clive supposedly helping Diddy bury a 1991 incident at City College involving a tragic stampede in which multiple people lost their lives. The talk about Clive and Diddy's rumored relationship adds spice to the mix. Jaguar hints that Diddy might have secured his deal with Bad Boy Records by becoming Clive's boy toy. And of course, there's the unverified conspiracy theory about Clive's involvement in Whitney Houston's tragic demise in 2012.
Y'all want me to talk about Clive Davis? Okay, let's do it, but I'm telling y'all right now, this story already took a turn that I was not expecting. So Clive Davis is over Arista, which is over Diddy's Bad Boy record. Now, rumor has it, allegedly, Diddy got on his knees for Clive Davis in 1994, and that's how Bad Boy Records came about.
Diddy and Clive share more than just a connection in the music industry. Both have faced serious allegations of SA and trafficking young individuals. Additionally, a disturbing pattern emerges as several people associated with them have died under mysterious circumstances. Returning to the speculations about Clive and Diddy's relationship, it's worth noting that Clive publicly revealed his bisexuality in 2013. On the other hand, Diddy, a father of 6 with various partners, has faced long-standing rumors about his sexuality. As Jaguar Wright brings these allegations to light, questions arise about whether Clive Davis is shielding Diddy due to potential guilt in similar activities. Then Jaguar delves into Whitney Houston's challenges, suggesting a connection between her struggles and alleged substance use, specifically cocaine or crack. Jaguar hints at Clive Davis's involvement, alluding to damaged lungs in Whitney's autopsy and insinuating that Clive may have played a role. Ray J, according to Jaguar, emerges as a key figure, being the last person to see Whitney alive and allegedly allowing a drug dealer into the room, even though Whitney was reportedly sober.
But when you add in the cocaine or the crack, and then the this and the that, and then When they did her autopsy, they said there was nothing wrong with her throat. Her lungs were so damaged that she couldn't fuel the notes. It was her lungs. It wasn't, her voice was fine.
Oh.
That's how Clive did it. And then the next thing you know, she's Ray J. And then it's Grammy time.
That happened.
And her and Clive had a fight 2 days before. And from what I was told, Bobby Christina was present for some of that fight. And then the next thing you know, she's dead. Ray J was the last person to see her alive. He let the drug dealer in, but she was sober, right? But he let the drug dealer in that gave her the shot. Leola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beaten. They saw her body. She didn't just die in a tub, like she was beat up.
The timing of Whitney's death around Grammy season and a reported altercation with Clive Davis 2 days prior adds a layer of complexity. Jaguar mentions Bobby Christina, Whitney's daughter, witnessing part of the altercation. Leola Brown's claim of Whitney being beaten up raises disturbing questions. Ray J's actions post-Whitney's death, including his appearance on Love and Hip Hop LA, draw criticism from Jaguar. Her reluctance to watch the Whitney Houston biopic stems from her knowledge of where the proceeds are directed.
Well, you know, Ray J was kind of down on his luck because the whole bullshit happened, and then, you know, Whitney was dead and he was using her, as he's said himself, for clout, and then all of a sudden he got Love and Hip Hop LA after Whitney died. And then they inappropriately put her stupid ass goddaughter on there. I just thought it was all kind of cheesy. Yeah, so now I probably won't be watching the movie just because I know whose money the proceeds are going to, and them. Billy, and you for inventing Diddy. At letting that out of control whack monger and sodomite just run rampant all over this goddamn for that. Like Andre was different. Andre had class. Andre had some integrity. But no, you go to get the little Chucky doll.
In summary, Whitney Houston's puzzling death, the strained relationship with Clive Davis, and the subsequent revelations suggest a complex narrative involving power plays, financial motives, and the darker side of the music industry. Whitney Houston fought for her life in a disheveled hotel room marked by a broken TV and scattered belongings. The narrative portrays her as beaten and bruised in the bathtub, sporting a severe cut on her lip. Notably, the assertion is made that no drugs were found in the room or in Whitney's body. The perspective contends that Whitney, as Clive Davis's significant investment, was untouchable without his blessing or orders. It is posited that Clive may have given the order, benefiting the most from her death. The narrative suggests Clive's realization that Whitney's return to the music scene was not a matter of willingness, but rather capability. Despite Whitney's role in making Arista Records, the narrative brings attention to the financial strain caused by her extended breaks between projects. Whitney's troubled period, including missed shows and headlines, is recalled during the signing of her $100 million contract. Surprisingly, instead of parting ways, Clive offered her more money to stay, indicating a reluctance to let her go. This viewpoint highlights the special treatment Whitney Houston received, suggesting that if any other artist had displayed similar behavior, Clive Davis would have let them go. Despite having numerous reasons to end their professional relationship, Whitney was retained, and her attempt to leave is considered a significant factor leading to her tragic fate. Whitney Houston's impact is enduring, and her spirit continues to live on. The truth surrounding her untimely death will eventually surface, bringing karmic consequences for those involved. Was Whitney Houston really a victim of a nefarious scheme? Are the rumors surrounding Clive Davis true?